Good morning, RLT members. Anybody out there watching live on YouTube? Hope you're having a great day so far. Interesting day yesterday in the market, a lot of chop. I'm sure everyone here was experiencing that. It was back and forth all day long, never really picked a strong direction. I got off one trade on Nvidia that was a winner, but also, it just chopped around a lot. And I ended up getting trailed out for, it was a profitable trade. I followed my plan. So that was a good trade. And, but still a lot of chop, a lot of, just no clear direction. But let's take a look at where we are market wise. So market's down a little bit here, but you can see on the S&P and the NASDAQ here, S&P we're still trading within yesterday's range. And this is interesting, if you look at what's happening here, right? This is just a lot of compression, right? A lot of pressure building here. And if you look at this on the S&P, we could be looking at some type of a bull flag, right? A bull pennant here, right? So pull, and then we're just forming that flag. Let's see. Albert says, for a day like yesterday, would you say it's better not day trade than day trade? Better not. Sorry, Albert, I'm not following. You say, is it better not day trade than day trade? Not to trade. Yeah. You know what? Yes. Thank you for clarifying that. Without a doubt, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with sitting on your hands and not trading, especially on a day like that, right? When everything's choppy and you can't get a clear direction. And so that's part of the reason why when I got into that Nvidia trade yesterday, I was aggressive, or I should say more aggressive with moving my stop, just because I knew there was going to be a lot of chop. And so as soon as I could move my stop to break even, but without, risking getting, taken out of the trade too quickly, I did. So yeah, you can choose not to trade, which is always an option, and sometimes a very good choice, because, on a day like yesterday, you easily can lose an R very quickly, right? With all that chop, that back and forth. So yeah, perfectly fine just to sit on your hands and do nothing. Absolutely. But on again Friday and then yesterday, I mentioned that we're likely to pull back for a couple of days here. So today could be the third day of this retracement, and again we're kind of looking at some type of a bull pennant here potentially on the S&P, and then same thing here, a little bit different, right? We're making here, at least we're holding this level. On the NASDAQ, we are pulling back, but again, it's a nice controlled pullback. And we do have these moving averages here that are going to come into play and provide support. Lots of, and we are in the middle of earnings season, of course. And so, and I was looking at, there's a lot of activity today on, I'll pull up my scanner in a little bit, but let's just, we'll get through all of our usual 10 EMA strategy tickers, and then we'll look at the gaps. Sorry, let me just get caught up a little bit on this on the chat here. So Chris McCoy says, my plan did not allow me to trade yesterday, but today, because we were gapping, I'm allowed to trade. Great. See, that's a great thing to have in your plan, right? So and that forces you to sit on your hands. And yeah, Andrew says, glad he didn't trade yesterday. Yeah, it was not a great day to trade. So perfectly fine just to do nothing. So anyway, we are we're gapping right now on the NASDAQ. We are gapping down a little bit from yesterday's close. We are still within, when we look at the futures here, we still are trading within yesterday's range right now, even though we broke a little bit below it. We are within yesterday's range. Same goes for the S&P here. So let me get into, so we'll have to wait and see where we actually open with the with SPY and the Qs. But let's go and take a look at, give me a second here to adjust different share. Okay, so let's take a look at, sorry, I'm going to move some things around here real quick. Just bear with me. All right, you should see this is a chart of actually Fiserv. You should see that right now. Give me one if I've got you on the right screen, please. Thanks, Bill. Okay, so Tesla. I've already done out all the lines. Again, would not surprise me to pull back here again more. We are, let's see where we are. We're right now inside day. So if I zoom in here, right, pre-market, here's the green lines. Here's the yesterday's high, yesterday's low. The low is sitting right on top of this, the 10 EMA on the daily, which is right here. Sorry, I've got the wrong line there. Sorry, let me adjust. Thought I adjusted all these earlier. Maybe I didn't. 822.44. Apologize about that. Maybe Tesla was the only one I didn't do. Low here, let's see, 802.20. $802.20. Okay, here we go. All right. Little bit different look now. Okay. So pre-market high. So if I'm looking at the post-market yesterday, so here, this orange line here, let me zoom in a little bit more. Orange line here, pre-market high right now. We can adjust this, the pre-market low a little bit, pull this down. So here's a pre-market low. Here's yesterday's low. So we are trading below that. One thing I do want to point out, okay, so I dropped this note in here. I am seeing support at this line here. And if we run through how I'm getting to that support, you know, if we look left here, right? So we have this candle here, right, on the daily. So I drew that line in there. We do have some support. Now, if we go into the weekly, if we go into the weekly, you'll see here that that same line, okay, is, we can zoom in a little bit here. Okay. So definitely some support on this line on the weekly. If I scroll over here, see here where it touched right here on the weekly. Obviously these candles held on the weekly, it pushed down through here, but it came back up. Then if we go to the monthly, so same thing, right? So, you know, this candle again, it doesn't have to, it's within between, you know, it doesn't have to bounce right off of it, but this candle here, this candle. So we definitely have some support here. So just be aware of that. Watch that level there. That's, you know, 793, 792, somewhere in there. So if you do get into Tesla, you know, I might, if it's gonna go down, I might actually look to see it break that level and then come back and test it and then go back down. Jay Linder is throwing out there 10 a.m. consumer confidence, new home sales. Yep. So we'll want to be aware of that, right? Because that kind of catalyst can make the market move. So thank you for posting that. Let's go back to the daily. Okay. So Tesla, again, we are going to be opening. It looks like right now we're going to be opening, gapping down from yesterday's candle. But again, we do have some strong support right here. So watch that level. Let's go to Nvidia. That's what I took yesterday, which was it was okay. Again, very choppy. Zoom in here, indecision candle. You have a doji from yesterday. We are currently, where are we? We are trading within yesterday's range. So I do have the high and the low, which is, again, these green lines, right? So we're trading within yesterday's range. We do have definitely some support down here. So here's the daily 50. We have the daily 10 here as well. So keep in mind, those are this blue line and this red line here, right? So there's support there. We're within yesterday's range. So you can expect some chop with Nvidia unless we break out of that range. Amazon. So Amazon's interesting because it is getting beat up a little bit. Gapping down, right? So I've already dropped in this note here. Let's zoom in a little bit. This is on the 5-minute chart. So I've got my pre-market high, the low we can adjust a little bit here, pre-market low. But some news on Amazon. Go earlier, there was something that I was reading. That was it. I think that, oh yeah, Credit Suisse lowered right here, lowers the price target. So that was, one of the things I read early this morning when I was doing all this, the pre-market stuff. But anyway, we are looking at right now. So we are gapping below. So here's yesterday, small range, right? Here's yesterday's candle. Here's the high, the low. So we're going to be gapping below it. It is a retest gap. So I've dropped that note there just as a reminder of what it is. But we do have, again, we have some levels of support here. Okay. So this, here's the daily 50 down here. So we're gapping down into right now. Here's the price action is this orange line. So we're gapping between the 20 here and the 50. So just be aware of where that 50 is, because it could easily come just down there, bounce, and then head back up. Morning, Matt. Let's take a look at AMD. A lot of lines here on AMD because we have a lot of moving averages here. So we have, we are trading within the range of yesterday. Here's yesterday's high, yesterday's low. We are still trading within that range here, though we are trading near the upper portion of that. Pre-market low, pre-market high marked out. We do have the 50 overhead here, right? So here's the daily 50 overhead. So if we do go bullish on it, if you take a bullish trade, just be aware. Here's, it's interesting, this print right here, technically I could make that the pre-market high. But I just threw that line in here, knowing that this print up here was somewhere around that daily 50. So I already have a line here. So I'm just leaving the pre-market high right here, just because that was the only one. It came up here, printed, it came back right back down into the this range. So right now we would need to clear the high of, let's see what the open, what the close was. There's a little bit of a wick there, right? Tiny bit of a wick. So the close of this candle was 87.54. So right now we would not be gapping above that. So we'll just be patient, wait for it to break there. We're obviously going to be also watching the markets, the overall markets, to see what they do. So Matt, you say you see on TOS you have an indicator to show gaps. Curious if you can share it. So if I go back, let's go back to Amazon real quick. You're talking about this right here. Is that what you're referring to? Yep. So Yeah. So here's my indicator. Ready for this? It's a secret. Don't tell anybody. I go up here and I click text note and I go in and I put retest gap and then I click OK. So yeah, I'm just manually putting it in there. There's no, it would be nice, right? It'd be nice if there was an indicator that did that, but no, I'm just manually going in and putting in that note. And that's just really just for me to be aware. And I did the same thing with Tesla here, right? I put in this note down here that there's support on this line. So it's just really just for my own personal reference. But it does help, right? Because sometimes you forget, well, was that a retest gap? Is it a gap and go? What was this line? Why did I drop that line in there? All right, let's take a look at Delta. So Delta, not really doing a whole lot, right? It's just trading within yesterday's range, not a ton. I mean, this is just kind of very spotty pre-market. Nothing really showing any clear direction. We go in here on the daily, and we do have hammer candle here. But again, we had a hammer candle here. We had I talked about this yesterday, the bearish engulfing candle. So we came down. We are holding. What is interesting is price action did push down lower, but it did come back up. The bulls did step in. They bought it, and it is holding this. Here's the 20 and here's the 10 on the daily. So it is holding that level, where the low of this candle was, low of this one. So that clearly is a battleground and it's holding that level. So keep an eye. I mean, if the market ends up going bullish or later in the week, let's say, I don't know that it's going to happen today with Delta, but could start to push it. If this level continues to hold, that's a good sign. It could push bullish out of there. Now, this is not on on our 10 EMA list. I know this, but Shop is one that I keep following. It's interesting. So Shop is actually getting a little hammered this morning. So the news here on Shop, so the catalyst is that they are laying off 10% of their workforce. So it's about 1,000 employees, I think, is what they're going to be laying off. So it's a retest gap. Now, it's a big gap. So I think, let's see. Let me pull up my, did my scanner just come into view? Give me a 1 if you would, please, if my scanner just came in to view. I just dropped it on that. Perfect. Thanks. Okay. So Shop, right? Let's, where are we on Shop? Or was it? I thought it was down about 10%. And maybe I don't have it in here because if I go to my scanner, I might have limited the percentage to 12. So that means it's over 12 right now, right? So you just want to be careful because if you do go to trade Shop, because it is down as much as it is, let's lower this. So this is the pre-market low, right? So now we're way down here. So it is a good gap. It's a retest gap. And think about this right now. Think about the sentiment and who's potentially trapped and what and how. Okay, thanks, Jay. Jay's saying it's down 14%, right? So it's clearing right now. Price action is clearing all of these bullish candles, right? So everyone who bought in here currently, when it opens, if it opens where it is now, is trapped. Now, the only thing that I will say about this is that this is clearly a strong, let me go to a line, strong level of support right here. Okay. So we got down here, there's 3 different times that it is in recent price action where it's held that level. So it's a strong level. It could easily just get bought up. I mean, look, Shop's not going anywhere. right? It's it's a solid company. Some people may actually look at them laying off as a positive thing, even though the price is dropping right now. If you think about the reason they're laying people off is to protect revenue, right? So lower overhead, and then you lower your overhead, and then your profitability goes up. So people might actually see that as a positive. So be careful on Shop. I mean, I likely am not going to trade it just because I shouldn't even say that. I'll just say right now, I'm not going to trade it because it doesn't fit within my my rules, right? So my rules say that I focus on gaps that are anywhere from like 2 to 7%. So anything over 10 certainly is something I'm likely not going to trade. People are posting a couple things. Let's see. Yeah, so Kevin is saying he's seen many stocks trade up after layoffs. Absolutely. Shop gears up for 10%. Founder admits overestimated. And yeah, so so John's saying could be a nice fade. Yeah, so yeah, if anything, I would look to and I can fade per my rules and my trading plan. I can fade retest gaps. I cannot fade gap and goes, but retest gaps I can. So we'll keep an eye on Shop. I do have it on another screen here. So, but I would expect it to get bought up. At least that's my thought. Look for some type of if it gets down into this area and throws in a nice hammer candle, then maybe look to go long on it. All right, let's take a look at a couple others. Roblox. Right, so Roblox here, if we zoom in, just trading within yesterday's range. All right, Stephen, yeah, I'll get to XOM in a second. So yesterday, today it's trading within, so it's an inside day right now based on the pre-market. It bounced off of this is the 20 on the daily here. We do have this is the daily 100 down here as well. So there's definitely some support here. If you draw this line here, right, just dropping this line, just based on just this price action right here, you can see there's definitely some support. Take a look at XOM for Steven. So XOM, Exxon, retest gap. Looks like it's going to be gapping up today. Let's see, what's the catalyst on this? So earnings aren't till the 29th. So this might be, I'm assuming somebody else came, oil's moving. Yeah. So I'm assuming maybe another oil company reported positive earnings. So this could just be XOM could just be pulled up with it. Stephen, do you happen to know who what the other oil company? There must have been some oil company that released positive earnings. Yeah, so Oxy's also up. Yeah, so we're going to have looking at a retest gap here. Currently prices at 91.40. Here's the daily 50 at 91.19. So you have some support here. So if it retests down to that level, 90.19, that could be, which is right around the high of somewhere near the high of yesterday's price action. So that could be a place to buy if it trades down a little bit, if it retests that level. You do have some overhead resistance right around 93. So there's some room for this to go. Let's take a look at Oxy as well. All right, we got 3 minutes until market open. You can clearly see I've not updated my lines in a little bit for Oxy. But anyway, look at that day yesterday. Nice day. Earnings coming up, but nice bullish day yesterday. Gapping up here. So maybe look for if it's going to be a retest gap. So look for it to trade back down towards yesterday's high. Maybe if you're going to look to get into a retest, I don't know if it's going to pull back that much, but if olive oil is moving, USO, Stephen is saying, is also gapping up. So if olive oil is moving, you might get a little bit of a retest, but I don't know. That might be, you might get down there just when the market opens, depending on how quick, if there's profit takers, how quickly that pulls down there. But yeah, look for that to go back up. All right, we have 2 minutes ago. I'm going to end the live stream on YouTube. But before I do, let me give me 1 second here. Okay, let me go to a different share. All right. So if you are watching right now on YouTube, whether you're watching live or watching the recording, we are having a free open house the week of August 1st through the 5th. So just go on over to reallifetrading.com. You can RSVP here. Totally free. You get to experience what it's like to be part of the RLT community for a week. So definitely would encourage you to do that. Also, please subscribe, hit that subscribe button and the alerts, and have a great day trading. Be profitable, but also be patient. Thanks for joining us. We'll now end the live stream.